Welcome to CEO Interviews, a production of Gorecom in which we take the time to speak with small cap executives about recent important developments at their company. With us today, I'm really happy to have again Chris DuPont. He's president of Explor Resources. The company trades on the TSX Venture Exchange under the stock symbol EXS. For our friends in the US, EXSFF, and for our friends in Germany, both on the Frankfurt and Berlin exchanges, E1H1. Now, for those of you who are new to the Explor story, the company is a gold and base metals exploration company with holdings in Ontario, Quebec, New Brunswick, and Saskatchewan. The company's flagship property is the Timmins Porcupine West. You'll hear us refer to as the TPW. It has a 43-101 resources of 609,000 ounces indicated, 478,000 ounces of gold inferred. It's just 13 kilometers from downtown Timmins, and has been optioned to Teck Resources on a $12 million, 70% interest earn-in deal, which is unbelievable. And it's located just 2.5 kilometers away from Lakeshore Gold's West Timmins mine. With us to talk about more and where the company's at is Chris. Welcome to the show.
Great, George. It's nice to talk to you again.
We just saw each other at PDAC. I know what I saw there. Why don't you communicate with your audience how PDAC went for Explor?
Well, the Explor was fantastic. We had just crowds and crowds of people there. We had 4 of our representatives from Explor were there, 2 of our geologists, and one of our directors. And it was fantastic, the amount of people coming in to talk about Explor, about our projects. They were very, very excited to see what we were doing. So we updated everybody on what was going on, the drilling on Kidd Creek, the advancements on our TPW project, our Ogden project, Montrose Midlothian project, our PG 101, and also our Duparquet project in Quebec, next to the BD Donchester mine.
Let's talk about TPW first. That's your flagship for the benefit of everyone who couldn't make PDAC, and that's probably most of your shareholders, because not everyone's in Toronto. What's the latest update on TPW?
Well, TPW, Teck is the operator. So being the operator, they decide when the work's going to be done, when they are going to work, and what the budget, what they're going to spend on it. So consequently, we're sitting in the back seat, basically, as they drive the project forward. To date, they've spent close to $3 million of their $8 million they have to spend for their 55% earn-in. And I expect when their budget process is finished, they'll tell us what they're going to do.
Have you ever seen more potential in the mining industry than you're seeing right now? Because you've got the great thing is you've got Teck on TPW, but you've got another great basket of projects. In all your years of mining, and you've got great experience, have you ever seen this kind of potential?
No, we've got probably one of the greatest companies going with we've got 14 properties of merit. We've got Eastford Lake, for instance, which is 40 feet of half-ounce grade. We've got TPW, which, like I said, has got close to 1 million ounces of resource on 2,000 kilometers of strike length. We've got Kidd Creek, where we've hit the first time we've ever hit ex-halite in 10 years of exploring there. And our highest to date was 1.5% zinc. I don't think anybody else has hit that kind of grade or that type of geological structure. We've got the same type of rocks that are found at the Kidd Creek mine. So we're very, very excited about Kidd Creek. We've also started our PG 101, which is next to St. Andrew's Goldfield. On there, we know there's 3 of their structures that go under our ground. We've completed our geophysics there. We've also completed geophysics on our Duparquet property in Quebec, which is next to the BD Donchester mine. It's close to 4 million ounces of resource right there. Midlothian Montrose, we've got gold on that property too. We completed geophysics on that area. So we've got a lot of preliminary work done on a lot of our major projects, so we're ready to move ahead with them.
Devil's advocate, do you ever worry sometime that you're almost too good? How do you handle the breadth of that many quality projects? I know, and a lot of people at home probably know of a lot of companies that have a lot of projects. They go to the website and they'll see a few, but you don't have very many sleepers. It's like you said, you have 14 properties of merit. So how do you begin to tackle that? Or are you going to have to go find more partnerships and like you did with Teck, deals like you've done with Teck?
Well, we're always open to joint ventures with people and earning option agreements. And we've talked to several companies at the PDAC, and they're supposed to get back to me in the next couple of weeks about that. So as long as the deal they proposed is beneficial to Explor, we will go with it. But like I told those guys at the PDAC that were interested in some of our properties, it's got to make sense. Because when I present it to the board, it has to make sense or else the board's not going to accept it. If they come in with some ridiculous offer, it's not going to work. But the properties of merit, they're always available for people. We keep a lot of them on the back burner. We keep 2 or 3 that we're advancing. And like I told you before, what we want to do is bring the properties to the point that a major wants it. And then we'll vend it off to a major and let them do all the heavy lifting. We'll do the high risk. When it gets to the point of developing the project, we want a major to do that. They're the ones that can raise the $400 or $500 million and build the mine. We're just a junior. Our expertise is exploration, and that's what we concentrate on, exploration.
Now, I want to talk about your exploration team in a second, but first I want to kind of ask you a follow-up question to that. What I'm seeing out there, so the good news is for you and all shareholders of the company, is that I'm seeing cashed up companies that are looking for projects, even shells that are looking to bring in a good project in the fold. So are you optimistic that you'll be able to find a couple of good partnerships going forward in the next 60, 90 days?
I think there'll be some people coming forward with some good, with the cash, and they need a decent project.
Right.
So I can see that coming. And well, from their side, they'll try to get it as cheap as possible. But like I've told the people before, it has to be something reasonable that we can take to the board. Like we spent, for instance, on Eastford Lake, we've already spent $5.5 million. We got it to the point where we know where the gold. All you got to do is drill it. The risk is gone. We've got 40 feet a half ounce. We know we have intersections of 114 grams over 3 and 4 meters. All they have to do is just follow it, drill it and follow it. So that's a hell of a good property. In Duparquet, we just finished over $100,000 airborne geophysical program to determine that the structure comes from the BD Donchester mine onto our property. That project's available too if somebody wants it. If not, we'll do it ourselves. Like we had numerous people come to the booth wanting to finance this. And I told them, well, send me the proposal. We'll look at it and we'll see. If it makes sense to Explor, to the shareholders, we'll go ahead with it. We have the expertise to do the work ourselves. We've been doing this. I've been doing it for over 40 years.
Clearly.
Our company's been doing it for over 10 years, Explor has. We bring the projects, like I said, to the point where a major wants it, and then we'll vend it off. If a junior wants to participate and option the property, we'll sure look at that.
Again, anecdotal information for everyone at home is there are companies that are getting cashed up and they have a sense of urgency. So I would, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Chris, but I would categorize this right now as a seller's market. 2 years ago, if you had the cash, you could pretty much dictate terms, correct? But today, there's a sense of urgency. Companies are getting cashed up and investors are telling them, we don't want you sitting around. We want to participate in this bull market that we see coming in the next 5 years. So would you agree with me that right now it's a seller's market and in fact you and Explor are sitting in the driver's seat?
I think it is a seller's market. And there's a lot of potential right now for other companies to talk to people with good projects that are willing to deal. So it is, the market's there.
Let's talk about the future outlook for Explor. We know what your business model is, and it's obviously very effective because you've already attracted the likes of tech and you've got all these properties of merit. Where do you see the company 2 to 3 years from now, given what you see going on in the marketplace? What can your shareholders expect to see? What kind of position is Explor going to be in?
I can see the stock price increasing significantly over the next 1 to 2 years. I can see the price of gold going up, causing the stock price to go that way. I can see base metal prices going up also. That'll affect our stock price. That's what I see. I see Explor going from a 7.5, 8 cent stock to maybe 16, 20, 30 cents in the next 1 to 2 years. Easy.
With the projects you have on hand, how many TPW style partnerships do you think realistically you could have on the table 2 to 3 years from now?
I could see 2 or 3 projects easy.
Which ones do you think are your most coveted after TPW?
Eastford Lake's a fantastic project. PG 101 is another fantastic project with a lot of potential for gold, as Eastford Lake. The one in Quebec, Duparquet, is another one that's good for gold. we're sure to hit gold by drilling in that one. As far as base metal projects, the one we have in New Brunswick, Chester, got 3 million tons of copper ore. That one could easily increase to twice that by spending a few $1 million just drilling.
And there is a lot of demand on the floor of PDAC out here in copper. People are looking for copper projects.
Well, that one there, we just, when we drilled the Chester project this year, we had 500 meters of strike length. At the end of the drilling program, we now have 750 meters of strike length. We know we got a 50% increase, but we have to do a significant amount more drilling in order to quantify what kind of tonnage that is. Now, we know the first 500 meters has 3 million tons. So the next, say, 250 meters, probably at least half that. At least another 1 million to 2 million tons easy. Under the current standards, 43-101, we have to do a significant amount of drilling in order to increase the resource. We have 1 or 2 holes in there now indicating that the structure is there, but we'll probably have to do half a dozen or a dozen holes in there in order to quantify another 1 to 2 million tons of copper ore. And at the same time, we'll be able to lengthen the structure. We believe that the structure has the potential to be up to 2 kilometers of strike length. Now we're up to about 750 meters. But we need to have enough drilling in order to put the tonnage in perspective.
Let me ask something. This is just going to be my business mind thinking, because this is what my job is all the time when I place at PDAC. Do you ever get tempted to say, look, we've got 14 prizes of merit under our umbrella right now, and that's a lot. So do you ever get tempted to spin them out in groups of 4 into different companies where you provide a capital dividend back to Explor investors, but put their own teams in place, because God knows you can get the financing no problem with these projects you're on, and just go it yourself, but break them up a little bit so you don't have so many projects under one umbrella. Is that even a consideration?
We tried that at one time, but we found that getting through the Securities Commission is very difficult when you try to spin out projects into a separate project, into separate entities. It's very costly and very difficult because they're very dubious about trying to do that. Okay. If you're selling the property outright to a different group that's totally separate from our company, that's one thing. But if you try to form another company in order to dividend out the project to that company with the same management, it's very difficult to get through the Securities Commission.
All right. I just thought I'd float that out there. So last question for you, Chris. You've already got 14 projects there. Are you going to continue? I know you're going to continue exploration on each of them, but are you going to continue trying to locate more and more new projects? Because obviously you're very skilled. You and your exploration team have done an unbelievable job. Can we be here a year from now and the number goes from 14 to 16, 17, 18?
No, I don't think we'll do that. The thing is, all we're doing right now is adding to our existing position, which means we have good projects. We know they're there. And what we try to do is expand the land position in the area. In some cases, you'll have half a dozen claims. Well, half a dozen claims is not enough to run a proper exploration project. So if we can pick up more claims in order to increase that to 10, 20, 30, or even 100, then we've got something we can do something with. We're not going to go out after new projects. If we spin out some of our projects and something becomes available that's fantastic or unbelievable, then we'll look into it. But as for now, grassroots projects, we're not going to go after any new grassroots.
All right. Yeah, I had to ask that. I'm assuming people at home are probably thinking that. Yeah. But given the quality of the project, you've got what I call meat on the bone right now. Yeah, I'm glad to hear that you don't think that's going to be necessary unless something spectacular falls in your lap.
No, if all of a sudden we were to option out, say, 14 of our projects, then we would look at new projects.
Right.
But as it is, or if we did option it out, we would probably want to be the operator to ensure that the work was done properly. Because in some cases, you've got a lot of juniors out there. A lot of them don't have a technically competent staff in order to do the work. They're run by accountants and lawyers. And then they say, well, we'll just hire any old geologist to do it. We got a good property, but we'll get this geologist that just graduated from university. We'll put him on it. They don't realize experience is valuable. So we need expertise, and we have the expertise to do it. Most of my guys are over 50, or if not 60 years old. They've got 30 to 40 years experience. They know exactly what to do in order to run a proper exploration program.
Yeah, and despite the fact that geology typically is a science, really, Chris, I think you'll tell everyone at home you agree that it's really an art at the end of the day.
It's both an art and a science. You have to combine both. You have the expertise, the technical expertise, but you also have to have the experience of what you've seen in the past and put it together for what you're going to get in the future.
Hey, if it was that easy, I'd start up a Gorcom mining tomorrow and like have a bunch of lawyers and accountants and hire some geologists. But something tells me I'm not going to have a lot of luck, and I'd rather leave that in the capable hands of you and your team.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, George. It was nice talking to you.
You've been watching Chris DuPont, president of Explor Resources. The company trades on the TSX Venture Exchange on the stock symbol EXS. For our friends in the U.S., EXSFF. And for all our friends in Germany on both Frankfurt and Berlin, E1H1. As always, get to the company's website, explorresources.com, for details. But get over to Agoracom, where we've got nice, neat profiles, our previous interview with Chris, and all sorts of great information for you to be able to share and discuss with other shareholders. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time.